Right now on Good Morning America, first look, powerful storms slammed the Northeast, flooding streets and subways as a waterspout comes ashore on Long Island, and a tornado tears through Delaware.
And breaking overnight, all 8 people on board a charter plane are killed in a crash in remote Alaska. What we're learning this morning.
President Trump and Michael Cohen together again. The stunning on-air reunion 8 years in the making.
Walmart says relief is coming for your grocery bill thanks to a multi-billion-dollar windfall.
Plus, Neutrogena addresses the backlash over its treatment of Hayden Panettiere.
The serious message behind an appearance by Darth Vader at a city council meeting.
And a 26-year-old man is now a prince after a royal family secret comes out.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America. First Look.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Faith Abube in for Hannah. And we begin this morning with the punishing storms pounding the Northeast.
A new wave of severe weather whipped through the area last night with drenching rain, flooding, and tornadoes. Powerful storms slamming the Northeast, from D.C. to Philly to New York, where heavy rain is flooding streets across the city. Drivers left stranded. Water pouring into subway stations.
Oh my God, it is spinning around. This is insane.
On Long Island, a waterspout coming ashore, hitting 2 beach clubs, damaging or destroying dozens of cabanas. Firefighters digging through the torn apart structures, making sure no one was trapped.
The noise was frightening. You could see the wind. It was extremely violent. You look out the window and furniture from cabanas, from the deck area were flying everywhere.
Officials say one person suffered a minor head injury.
By the grace of luck that a lot of people weren't hurt here.
In Summit, New Jersey, lightning reportedly striking the chimney of this home, starting a fire in the attic.
I was in bed watching TV, and the next thing I can tell you, the ceiling caved in with sparks with the loud boom.
Farther south, a tornado tearing through the city of Dover, Delaware, sending debris flying and leaving behind a trail of destruction. 2 hotels left badly damaged, with pieces of the buildings wrapped around power lines. The severe weather also disrupting air travel, canceling more than 800 flights and delaying more than 7,000. Meanwhile, across the country, a different weather threat. Time-lapse video showing a dust storm rolling through Phoenix. And in Hawaii, residents there are bracing for a tropical depression, only a week after Hurricane Lala battered the state. The system is expected to strengthen as it moves toward the islands, bringing more than a foot of rain to some areas, still cleaning up from Lala. Heavy rain is expected to impact the Big Island starting tomorrow night before the system pushes west across the islands.
And breaking overnight, another deadly plane crash, this time in Alaska. A small plane went down in a remote area in the western part of the state yesterday afternoon. And we now know all 8 people on board were killed. The military says it was a civilian contracted aircraft and called it a devastating loss. The names of the passengers and 2 pilots have not yet been released.
Chilling new video shows the moment a small plane slammed into a Pennsylvania State Police helicopter with deadly results. The plane suddenly veered off the runway while landing, blindsiding the chopper as it hovered a few feet off the ground. The pilot of that plane died. The 2 troopers on the helicopter walked away with minor injuries.
And overseas, the USS Abraham Lincoln is heading home from the Middle East after 9 months at sea. And complaints and poor living conditions and declining mental health of the soldiers on board. The ship's 5,000 sailors and Marines are expected to arrive at the airport in San Diego in just 4 to 5 weeks. Another aircraft carrier, the George Washington, has taken its place in support of the U.S. operations against Iran.
Now to a surprising on-air reunion. President Trump agreeing to an interview with Michael Cohen, his former fixer who went to prison and later helped convict him. ABC's Karen Hua has those details. Karen, good morning.
Hey, Sophie, good morning. The man who once said he'd take a bullet for Trump, then helped put him on trial, is now burying the hatchet.
An unlikely truce on the airwaves as Michael Cohen welcomed his former boss to his radio show. Cohen even set the tone before the president ever spoke, queuing up a 1970s classic.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Hello, Michael. How are you, Michael?
How you doing, sir? Welcome.
President Trump and Michael Cohen talking in public for the first time in 8 years in a taped interview for Cohen's radio show.
They weaponized you like nobody's ever been weaponized, like few have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
Cohen was Trump's personal attorney and fixer for a decade before an epic public blowout. 8 years ago today, Cohen pleaded guilty to tax evasion and campaign finance violations and implicated Trump in hush money payments. In 2019, before reporting to prison, he blasted Trump before Congress.
He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
And in 2024, his testimony helped convict Trump on 34 felony charges.
I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said, and that's a big thing that you did.
Cohen has not withdrawn his testimony. The two reconnected quietly over the past year, and on his show, he explained why he's moving on.
Reconciliation doesn't mean surrendering your principles or rewriting facts. It simply means deciding that your story doesn't have to end in its worst chapter.
Meanwhile, at the White House, another return.
I heard you missed me. Here I am.
The First Lady out in public for the first time in more than a month, accepting $2 million from IndyCar and Fox for foster care scholarships and admiring a race car in the Rose Garden.
Look at this incredible race car. Gorgeous and powerful.
Now, Cohen says he's following up about a pardon from the White House. President Biden denied his first application, so now he's resubmitted it. Faith?
All right, Karen, thank you. Race cars like the one you just saw in the Rose Garden will take center stage at the National Mall in Washington this weekend. The D.C. Grand Prix will feature 25 drivers competing in the final Donald Trump event marking the nation's 250th birthday. Trump is set to kick things off by riding the 1.7-mile track in the presidential limo known as the Beast.
Now to the economy and some good news on prices from the country's biggest retailer. Here's ABC's Lana Moise.
This morning, some relief may be coming for your grocery bill. Walmart says it's putting its $2.9 billion tariff refund toward lower prices. The retail giant says its customers are feeling squeezed, especially by gas prices above $4 a gallon.
You can tell when fuel prices increase and got above $4, and perhaps there's a psychological impact to that there are choices that consumers are making.
This as families continue to grapple with high prices.
We spending a lot of money, but leaving with smaller bags, but we'll make it work.
You go where you can get your bargains and save some money.
Grocery prices are shaping up as a key midterm issue, and President Trump campaigned on bringing them down. On the campaign trail in 2024, he stood in front of a table of groceries to make the point.
You're paying $148 more a month on food. That's every month. Average family.
In a new statement, the White House says the president has implemented policies that have brought prices of key essentials ranging from prescription drugs to eggs to auto insurance down in historic ways. But a new poll finds 41% of Americans are concerned about being able to afford groceries over the next few months, up from 24% in April.
It's really compounding effects of people feeling concerned about prices from healthcare and housing and groceries and gas all hitting them at the same time.
Some Americans are going to new lengths to fill the gap. A Federal Reserve report finds some are selling their plasma to cover the bills, while others are delaying or skipping medical care to save money.
Some relief could soon be on the way. The Trump administration announced it will end the summer blend requirement 2 weeks early to boost supply and cut prices at the pump. Sophie, Faith.
All right, Lionel, thank you so much. An Oregon jury has awarded $550,000 to a pair of teenage girls left hanging upside down at an amusement park. They were among about 30 riders who were stranded for nearly half an hour when the ride malfunctioned, and this happened 2 years ago. The plaintiffs claimed the ride should not have broken down the way that it did, and that the park had no response plan ready when it did.
Oh, terrifying. Time now for your Friday weather.
Good morning. Tallying the storm reports from Thursday, especially in the east, there was a confirmed large tornado in Dover, Delaware. Maybe investigation for potential waterspout that came on shore in Atlantic Beach, New York. We'll let you know about that. There was some damage, though. Showers leave the northeast. Some more storms in the plains today could go severe. Also some showers and storms Virginia into parts of Georgia. Lots of heat from the west into the southeast. There's really no relief in the weekend. The feel-like readings are 110. Then we'll have to see if mocha forms in the Pacific. More rain for Hawaii over the weekend. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Have a great weekend.
Coming up, kids running a lemonade stand get robbed, but then they get the last laugh.
Also ahead, 2 fishermen survive 5 days lost at sea thanks to one very unlikely lifeboat.
And the new developments in the case of the masked man who terrorized Philadelphia. We're back now with this amazing story of survival. 2 fishermen stranded at sea for 5 days adrift in the Pacific with no food, no water, and they were inside a large cooler box. After a massive search, the Mexican Navy rescued them, and both men are said to be in stable condition.
A man accused of a despicable crime is now in custody. New Jersey police say the man snatched about $50 from a lemonade stand run by children, then took off running. They tracked him down at a nearby park where they say he still had the money on him.
And now to the manhunt in Philadelphia. Police have now identified the man they say terrorized people across the city in a creepy doll face mask, and he may have already fled the state.
This morning, Philadelphia authorities are turning to the public for help after naming the masked man they say has been terrorizing people across the city. 22-year-old Zymir Hughes.
If Zymir Hughes was trying to scare people, make them run, who's scared now? Who's running now?
Investigators also releasing new video of the suspect in that disturbing doll face mask. Police say he targeted 15 to 16 people on city streets, including this female jogger who they say he chased. She severely injured her leg trying to get away.
You think it's funny to scare people? Well, get ready to get scared by us, because we got the handcuffs, we got the jail cell.
Authorities say Hughes doesn't carry a weapon, but has threatened the people he approaches.
And officials also say Hughes travels for work and could now be on the West Coast.
Coming up, Neutrogena responds to days of backlash over its treatment of Hayden Panettiere.
And also ahead, Darth Vader shows up at a city council meeting with thoughts on surveillance cameras.
The Emperor is a fan of Flock, and we must continue utilizing Flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum.
The debate over Flock cameras taking a bizarre turn as Darth Vader entered the chat. That man dressed as the Star Wars villain spoke at a city council meeting in San Diego, appearing to voice support for the controversial cameras that can read license plates. Flock has faced backlash over privacy concerns. Dozens of police officers have been accused of misusing the technology.
It's a mental illness that affects almost 500,000 women a year, postpartum depression. And now 2 high-profile cases are putting a spotlight on the condition as a nationally recognized company acknowledges how it dealt with it. ABC's Andrea Fuji has details.
This morning, Neutrogena is addressing days of backlash over how it treated Hayden Panettiere. Earlier this year, Panettiere said the skincare giant didn't re-sign her as a spokesperson in 2016 after she spoke openly about her postpartum depression.
When I got that call that Neutrogena wanted to fire me over that, and my representative at the time said, "That's illegal. You can't do that."
Now, in a statement, the company says we made her feel unsupported during a very difficult time. This is not what Neutrogena stands for. The brand says it's now making a significant investment to expand access to postpartum care. Panettiere's death has renewed attention on postpartum depression, a condition she spoke about candidly for years after the birth of her daughter.
I was full of stress and anxiety all the time, and what I was doing to suppress those emotions was not normal, and it was not healthy.
About 1 in 8 women experience postpartum depression in the U.S., and of those, nearly half of them are not diagnosed by a doctor. The condition is also at the center of a murder trial in Massachusetts, where supporters in pink rallied outside the Lindsay Clancy case this week. The rally's organizer says the hundreds who showed up want to give Clancy, quote, the support and the peace that she begged for and didn't quite get.
It should not take tragedy for people to start paying attention to mental health.
Clancy is on trial for killing her 3 children. Her defense argues she was suffering from postpartum psychosis.
She told us.
What did she tell you?
She told us that she had thoughts of harming the children.
Prosecutors say she acted deliberately and was not psychotic. Closing arguments could start early next week in the Lindsay Clancy case. And as for Hayden Panettiere's death, investigators, including the DEA, are trying to determine how she died. Faith, Sophie.
Andrea, thank you. Coming up, the 26-year-old who just became a prince after a royal secret decades in the making came to light.
Plus, a Mets game gets an uninvited guest with a serious craving for a hot dog.
It's time now to check the pulse, and we want to begin with an update on Wilbur. Remember Wilbur, the wayward piglet of West Hollywood?
Yeah, I remember him. You may recall this little guy was caught on camera racing through the streets last weekend, dashing and darting until he was caught. Since then, the 11-week-old has been in a shelter, which put him up for adoption, and now he has a famous new mom, 17-time Oscar nominee songwriter Diane Warren.
Besides being a songwriter, my other passion is animal advocacy and saving as many as I can. I lose Oscars, but I won a pig.
Wilbur will now grow up in a 7-acre animal sanctuary in Malibu. New York Mets fans haven't had much to enjoy this summer.
Yeah, but an unannounced appearance provided plenty of entertainment at Wednesday's game. Fans discarding their peanut shells noticed, look right there at the screen, the paw there grabbing at them from a hole in the stand. It turned out to be a raccoon that never actually showed his face.
And like the most of the faithful, this raccoon also enjoyed a foot-long prank fed through by that little hole by a fan.
A former car salesman just climbed to the top of the social ladder.
Yeah, his name is Clement, the once secret son of Prince Laurent of Belgium. Born to a singer before Laurent was married, Laurent publicly acknowledged him as his son last year. And now we're learning at 26 years old, Clement has been officially recognized as a prince.
But despite the title, Clement won't be in line for the throne, and he won't actually receive a royal allowance.
Finally, if you are an Uno fanatic, you could win $50,000.
Yeah, Uno is going from a family game night to a first ever national competition. Top performing players would meet up in Los Angeles for an in-person tournament in November.
Checking more top stories, a powerful storm system tore through the Northeast with torrential rain, flooding roadways and knocking out power. A water spout pummeled a beach on Long Island. Subways were flooded, people were trapped in cars, and a tornado touched down in Delaware.
And sources say the FBI has searched the home of former Congressman Eric Swalwell. His phone and laptop were also seized as part of the investigation into allegations of sexual assault. Swalwell resigned from Congress in April amid sexual misconduct claims, which Swalwell says are false.
The FBI says it has foiled an ISIS-inspired plot to blow up the New York State Capitol building in Albany. Jessica Bowie is accused of spending weeks surveilling the Capitol and buying items for a bomb at Home Depot. Authorities say she shared plans for the attack with FBI informants.
In today's weather, storms in the Midwest and along the I-95 corridor, and then extreme heat in the south, 106 degrees in Oklahoma City.
And finally, kudos to a life-saving hero.
And that just happens to be a goose. Our Danny New explains.
This is the moment when a family's goose found their barn on fire and decided to yell out the goose word for
either mom, dad, or fire, or help.
Yeah.
His name is Goosey, and Chelsea and Bert say he saved the lives of countless chickens and turkeys who live in their Texas hatchery called Chelsea's Chickens. This was a few weeks ago at 1 in the morning when old electrical wiring somehow ignited the barn. You can see Goosey observing the blaze before actually honking a few times. But it's that third honk when you can really hear how badly Goosey wanted his message to be heard.
Well, living here with all these animals, you get used to certain noises that you don't even pay attention to. Well, there was one that night that I hadn't heard before.
Thankfully, that night, Bert happened to be asleep on the couch in his man cave, which is separate from the house. The honking woke him up. And within a minute, Bert was taking care of that fire with a garden hose.
That's when he said something made this awful noise. And it like woke me up. And I said, I bet you it was the goose.
Oh, don't cry.
However, maybe the biggest hero here is their daughter, Elena, who met Goosey a few months ago at an expo and hit Mom with the 4 most irresistible words in history: can we keep him?
How do you say no?
Yeah.
How do you say no to that?
Well, just 3 months later, Chelsea and Bert are now saying thank you.
We got really, really, really lucky. Really lucky.
They have about 100 chickens and turkeys, but only 1 goose. However, guys, Chelsea says this spring they plan to get a friend for Goosey, and the plan is to name her Lucy.
Lucy Goosey.
Very fitting. Most people get a watch dog. Now you can get a watch goose.
Oh.
That's your GMA First Look.
Thanks for spending time with us. Have a great day.